So I'm here today with Josh Pierce, Paid Media Manager at Blaze Media. You might have seen him posting on LinkedIn about some of his favourite topics, whether that's changes to paid tools, top tips for success on paid channels, and his cute dog Alfie and his newest dog Peggy. Today we're going to chat about how he and Blaze achieve success with their clients on paid channels like Google, Facebook, TikTok and more. Hi Josh, how are you doing?
I'm really good, Helen. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So at Blaze, you're a paid media manager. What does
Yes.
that entail and why do you like it?
So I head up all the paid media departments and all the channels we look after. So predominantly it is anything Google Ads, Facebook, Instagram or Meta, TikTok and a few other channels like LinkedIn and a little bit of Twitter as well. Mainly I'm focused on driving results for our clients and helping them achieve their KPIs through paid media.
Yeah, sounds good. There's a lot of pressure to succeed on paid, especially with big budgets, when big budgets are at stake. How do you best ensure success on paid channels?
So there's two main variables for us. One is reporting and the second one's communication. So if we look at reporting, me and my team, we'll meet up once a week and we use a very simple traffic light scheme. So we'll look at accounts, we'll analyze the data and the metrics, and we'll basically give a health score to the account and say what needs working on. We'll also, when we meet at the start of the week, we'll go through what needs to be done this week. Is there anything urgent? We also want to make notes of how we communicated with the client in the last couple of days, because we always want the client in the loop in terms of things, what's going on. And on top of that, we also then do monthly reporting. Obviously, that's more for the client, so they can see what's going on, they can get feedback, and we can also have a sit down with the client to see if there's any tips, advice, anything from their end that they want to implement. So it's more of a collaborative effort. And that's where the communication comes back into play. At Blaze, we're full in-house digital marketing agency, so we do a little bit of everything. So it's really important that we have clear, concise communication from the paid team to our client service managers to the client themselves and the rest of the hierarchy of the business, i.e. our MD, etc.
Oh, that's really good. So say if like a client was in like amber, it'd be like you'd move on to focus on them this week and see what you can do for the page.
It's not like we'll neglect anyone who's in green, but it's also to say like, where are things going wrong? Are things going wrong? Is there anything we can improve on? We also look at our external factors, i.e. did that client have a special offer on that week? Was there anything seasonality wise? Like we always look at those numbers, but we try not to micromanage anything as well. So we're always looking at 7 days, 30 days. If a client has one bad day or one good day, we're not making rash decisions off that.
Yeah.
We're looking at those long-term pictures to make bigger decisions.
Yeah, that sounds good. So obviously there's a lot involved when it comes to designing strong paid campaigns. One thing you mentioned that I wanted to talk more about is reporting. Why is reporting so important in paid?
Firstly, because paid is so analytical. So for a consumer who sees a Google ad, a Facebook ad, they see the creative element. We see predominantly that behind the scenes bit where there's loads of lines and metrics, and being able to look at those numbers, report on them, we can then make informed decisions going forward based upon metrics. One thing we find a lot with people is that a lot of things is based around what they think. And the best thing about paid advertisement is this might be what you think, but here's what the metrics actually say and they prove. It's why we also keep it very open-minded when it comes to testing. We want to some of our best ideas sometimes are our worst performing ideas, and sometimes our most sporadic and strangest ideas end up being our biggest hits. So It's really important to report on those things, look for the numbers, and then make the informed decisions.
Yeah, definitely. It kind of brings in that trust versus data debate that a lot of people talk about, where, reporting is important to look back at the data, and then also there's a bit of trust in there where, you have those random ideas like you mentioned, and they seem to work really well. So yeah, that sounds good. So what metrics do you focus on the most when it comes to reporting for your clients, and how does that apply to customer journey stages?
So when we look at reporting for our clients, we did go through a phase where we reported a lot. We threw in all those variables that we would look at. And after a few months of doing that, we found out the client predominantly only really cares about a couple of the metrics. And they are generally how much do they spend and what do they get back. For a paid media manager, that might be what do they get back is conversions, cost per conversion, conversion rates. There's other metrics that we will look at in-house, internally, things like, say, cost per click on a Google ad, but then that's so dependent on the industry. So you might have a client whose cost per click is £1 on average, and we work with some clients whose cost per click on average is £50 on average. So there are more things we look at internally. We might have those conversations with the client so that they understand it. But mainly when we report with the clients, we'll talk about everything, but the main thing they're normally focused on is how much they spent and what have they got back. What does that mean to their customer journey stages? Has different meanings. We like to try and break down our campaigns within accounts to different people within different parts of the user experience or the funnel. And we'll normally see different metrics when we start subdividing. So for example, if we're doing bottom of funnel remarketing, those audience sizes are going to be a lot more smaller than our top of funnel. So we're going to spend a lot less money on those areas, but quite often we'll have a greater return in those areas versus at the top of the funnel. But it's making the clients aware that these numbers at the bottom look fantastic, but there's a funnel there. So if you kill off the top of the funnel where the metric reporting might not be as strong in terms of conversions, conversion value, cost per conversion, if you kill that off, there's a good chance, maybe not the next day, not the day after that, but a couple of weeks, your bottom of funnel metrics are going to start being damaged, because you always have to be populating your top of funnel to get those good results at the bottom.
Yeah, great. And what do you think of marketers or businesses who ignore revenue as a metric for the paid ads?
So I think with e-commerce, it's a lot more simple, because with e-commerce, you can see the value there. When it comes to lead generation clients, it's a lot harder. A lot of marketers at the moment who work in lead gen, their North Star metric is how many leads can I get? And a lot of the time, it's not about the quality of those leads or what happens after that person becomes a lead. The people who succeed in the next couple of years are the ones who transition from not just optimizing campaigns for number of leads, but start optimizing campaigns for revenue generating leads or the offline value of those leads.
Yep. And you made a good point there about how it's hard to connect leads from paid ads to closed sales that happen further down the funnel. How do you bridge that data gap?
So different attribution softwares is mainly the way we look at it. There's people like yourselves, Real Analytics. There's a few other brands for e-commerce, and using UTM parameters is essential for our campaigns, especially at granular level, so that we can check that on databases like Google Analytics, GA4, etc. Yeah,
and attribution does get a lot of slack online saying it favours paid ads. What are your thoughts on this?
So attribution, I think, is a really tricky subject. I don't think any attribution model is perfect. I think they all have their flaws. There's a lot of slack around longer attribution windows. For example, Method Adverts, which has a traditional 7-day post-click or 1-day view attribution window. I personally have no problem with that slightly longer attribution window. The reason why is, so I think about this in terms of a normal person. If I was a user and it's a Monday and I see an advert for a t-shirt that I really liked, I might not have my wallet on me, and I might be busy, and I might be thinking, okay, I get paid on Saturday. So I'll wait till Saturday. I do a brand search through organic search for that company's name, click onto it, and I buy. In Google Analytics, because it's using last click, all that attribution goes to organic. So I don't think that's fair, because a lot of the heavy lifting there was done by the paid social advert at the start on the Monday. So I've got no problem with long attribution windows. I really like the new dynamic attribution that Google's introduced, where it tries to divide up the attribution a little bit better. But like I said, no attribution window is perfect. It's just trying to find where you can get the best results across all the boards, and just think of your marketers omni-channel, not just single channel.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. So on that, just to finish off this segment, just talk about Blaze. So Blaze are a fantastic digital marketing agency in Liverpool, winner of Creative and Digital Agency of the Year 2022. If you want to find out more about them, visit their website, www.blazemedia.co.uk.